Greetings, pirates and privateers. This is Grim coming at you live from inside the cargo bay of my newest creation. This is a very special ship to me. It's called the Diablo, and it shows up in both of the Cartel Incorporated novels that I've written. This is a ship that's been modified to work in game for Empyrion Galactic survival with Reforged Eden 2. So it's not exactly a carbon copy of what you're going to find in the pages of the book, but it's a good fit for the universe here after the few modifications that I've made. So let's start out in the back here. Right ahead of us, you see the old Liberator SX. That would be James Layne's ship. Fits quite nicely into the big landing bay here. We've got an advanced mobile repair bay. We've got access to both the port and starboard nacelles with two giant advanced generators for your power. The landing bay is 2 stories, so you can park a lot of stuff in here. And if we look out the back, there's a ramp that deploys when the landing gear deploys, so you've always got a way to get in and out with your hover vessels. The doors to this cavernous hangar, 2 giant ones, and starting up at the top here, there's gravity across the entire ship. Everything is nice and well ventilated. If you feel the need to climb ladders to get up to the second level, that's fine. You do you. Me, I prefer the old standard of an elevator, which is right behind those doors. Finishing off the landing bay here, O2 supply, and there's your console for the repair block. So, we're going to start with the bottom floor here. This is Deck 3. It is the flight deck, manufacturing, engineering, storage, and computer core, in that order. So into the manufacturing area here, we've got 2 advanced constructors, 3 small constructors, storage space on top on both sides. This is the universal constructor, and that's our deconstructor. So lots of space for everything you need. In the center of the room here is the warp core. Not just the warp core. It's a standard warp engine. It's got a gravity generator for amidships. It's got the Wi-Fi block. It's got a standard detector. It's got the pentaxid tank. And it's got that funky new shield that Empyrion Galactic Survival was so nice to provide. It is a better looking model, you got to admit. Followed up next by oxygen and fuel storage along the top of 2 640K controllers. These can be climbed up on top of if you want to take a little walk down the side. Nice little window there to look out. This is a mirror image on the other side, so we'll just go down this one. And we'll show you up at the front end of the ship. This is your access to the engines and computer core for up at the front. There's another gravity generator out here that rounds out the end of the gravity generators. So the entire ship is covered, as well as a few things, backward and forward of it. I took care to light all the different places in the ship so that you'd never have a problem getting where you need to go. And I stuck the computer core way up front here all on its lonesome, so if you do decide to get into a fight with something and it starts gaining the upper hand, it'll hit the core first, saving the rest of all this gorgeousness for you to go and fix, because you were dumb. Now, let's head on back down the other side, past all the nice radioactive fuel, and head on up to the next level. So that's going to be Deck 2. And according to our little menu here, hydroponics, cruise quarters, and old man's cantina. I think we're going to save that one for the last, and you'll see why. Alright, so here's the hydroponics area. Now it's just grow plots, nothing specifically hydroponic about it, but if you wanted to, you could put 6 hydroponic bays in here. There's enough space for that. Nice little spot to rest your heels, nice big windows. You can take a look outside, check out your gorgeous surroundings, or make faces at the aliens that are trying to kill you. It's all the same. Through this door, we come into the main crew quarters area, set up with a little socializing area in the middle. And each one of the quarters is appointed with the bed, a closet, a workstation, and some oxygen. Nothing special. Everybody gets a window too. All of those are the same until you get down towards the last door here, and there's a head. On either end, there's a shower and a toilet, along with the sink. Same thing over there. Through that door is Old Man's Cantina, but like I said, we'll get to that a little bit later in the program. Right now, let's go up and check out the bridge, shall we? I like to make these central elevators in all of my builds. This one actually opens up onto the top flight deck as well. There's your two RCSs. I find the central elevators make it a lot easier to get around bigger ships, and make it a little tougher for you to get lost in them, so I'm going to stick with them. Let's see here. So, yeah, we're on deck 2. Let's go up to deck 1. This one's full of all kinds of fun stuff. Medical, ops, officers' quarters, Old Man's Cantina VIP area. Again, we'll check that out at the end. So here's the ops room. This is where you can find your science stations, your weapon locker, your armor locker, a little bit of decoration, some IKEA shelves to put your cookbooks on, that kind of stuff. Across the way, every medical device known to man in the game. All in here just in case you were out a little too late with some unscrupulous people and maybe did some stuff you shouldn't have done. This is where you come to cure what ails you. And halfway down the hall here, there is a harvest controller and an ammo controller. Both of these are 320k. Lots of space to store what you need to store. And we'll get to that harvest controller in a little bit too. But here's the first of the officers' quarters. I wanted to make a nice role-play apartment for the officers. It's got a full kitchen set up with its own fridge. Here's a nice hangout area. There's a bed. There's some extra storage here for all your stuff. And a private shitter. Everybody wants a private shitter. Shower in there too. And while I went for the dark brown and beige motif here, on the other side I made it a little bit more tone neutral and bright. So depending on your tastes, pick a side of the ship, make it yours. You can live here. Alright, and once again, through that door at the end of the hall, past the little common area here, is Old Man's Cantina. We're going to go take a look at the bridge, and then we'll come back to my favorite part of the ship. If you've read the books, you know what goes on there. If you haven't, please do. They're available on Amazon. Take the elevator up the final little bit, up the stairs, and here we are on the bridge. I've added a couple of crewmates here. They're easy enough to find any bar in the game. Couple thousand credits, you've got yourself some crew. So when you're building this in-game, not too hard to get a hold of. There's an elevated bridge platform with the pilot seat. I like to be the pilot, so it's just for me. Everything on the bridge is out of the way of where you want to be pointing, just so that you can get a clear shot at stuff if that's what you're in the mood to do. Various little control stations here at the back, and a quick access to the outside here onto the back deck. Just enough space up here, by the way, to land something small like the Falconet. So, you know, if you want to have a little runabout, that's the perfect spot for it. Now, for the piece de resistance, huh? Let's head on down and see who's this old man and what's a cantina. And why is it on the front of my ship? Well, after a hard day of pirating and stealing other people's booty, both monetary and otherwise, you need a little place to unwind, somewhere where everybody knows your name. And that would be here. This is the VIP level of Old Man's Cantina, a glass-topped, glass-fronted bar and nightclub. The floor has been left carbon up top, very stark, very sedate. It's been well furnished with a bunch of seats for all your friends, and I even threw in a pretty looking bartender over there with a huge bar. The entire ship is well lit, including this area. Lots of rails so that you don't fall on your face. Head on down to the stairs to the regular level. And this is the door to access from normal crew quarters. And you're going to find a large dance floor, a couple of chill out spaces, a big snack bar with 2 major fridges, and this guy, your DJ, with the best sound system the universe can provide. And I gotta tell you, when you're out in space, sitting up against this window with nothing in front of you, it really is a sight. I do love to show off what this game can do. Now, the only thing that's left from here is to head on back out the flight bay, turn on some God mode, and have ourselves a little fly around, because one of the things I'm most proud of when it comes to this build is how close I was able to get it to look to the ship in my head when I first wrote the novels. So, out the door, and here's her beautiful backside to begin with. Lots of thrust, easy to get going where you want to get going. As we come around the side here, it's the outside of the nacelles. I've tried to keep forward, reverse, and vertical thrust all in the same box. Makes for a nice, neat little package. Down here, nestled in between the 2 reverse thrusters, are 4 light rail guns. You've got the same on the other side for taking care of whoever's getting on your bad side. And I've made sure that the windows are non-tinted so that you can see what's going on. Looks really cool when it's out in space. Along the bottom edge, you can see the heavy spotlights have been installed. The ship has the maximum count, so everything is well lit wherever you land. Coming up towards the front here, we've got lateral thrusters. Same kind. They're the advanced thrusters on the underside, but up here on the top, just to keep the aesthetics in line, I installed a line of medium thrusters so that they'd fit within the body lines of the ship. And as we come across to the front here, hiding beneath the surface of the exterior, this is all combat steel, just in case you're poking somebody in the nose and they don't like it. Now, one of the things that I added to this that doesn't go on a battle cruiser, because that's not what this is the mining switch. So that enables the 4 mining lasers pointing out of the front. You need to pick up some materials on the run, the Diablo's got you covered. Now, the last little bit that I'm going to show you here, before we get into the particulars of the ship, is what happens if you do get into trouble and somebody wants to have a word. Well, you go into your P menu, you flip a little switch that says turrets, and the Diablo is here to cover your ass. Every single one of these is plasma. We've got 2 on the sides up front. We've got 6 on the top deck. We've got another 2 at the back. And then these babies right here are the heavy plasma turrets. They are really great at taking apart anything that's chasing you after getting its shields down. I like an all-in-one package, and these boys deliver. And there she is, boys and girls, in the flesh, the Cartel Incorporated Diablo. A great all-rounder for Empyrion Galactic survival with Reforged Eden 2. Now, let's just get in real close here, and we'll take a look at the P menu. So, in the main, like I showed you before, pretty well laid out. I've put switches on most of the stuff that you'd want switches on: internal lights, grow lights, the mining, spotlights for the big heavy ones on the bottom there, as you can see when I turn them on, and the turrets. It has about 100 grand of CPU left, so you can add your own little customizations and stuff. And if we go into the stats panel here, let's actually turn those engines on. There we go, so it shows up the thrust. Max speed in atmosphere is 60 meters per second. She's no slouch. She can move around. It's pretty maneuverable. These numbers are not bad for a big ship like this. Complexity is a 6. Unlock level, of course, 25. You got to be huge to get this. Does take a little bit of saving up to get this girl going, but it is also a core 9. So it doesn't need a whole lot of quantums to get this thing off the ground. I didn't put anything extra special in there, so it'd be easy for beginning to mid-game players to start saving up for this ship. And that's all she wrote, folks. If you want a piece of this for yourself, head on over to Nexus Mods and look up Cartel Incorporated. The model will be available for download as soon as this video is available, so go out and get you one. You deserve it.